Hi, I'm Kat from katsabstractworld. How have you guys been? Today's been kind of hard for me, so I thought I'd do a voiceover of one of my first ever art projects. I'm not necessarily sure if I should be posting art projects or not, but I'm gonna. That's all. I don't know. But I've been debating on it. But I feel like a big reason I'm in art school is because I want to create more content. I decided why not post my journey like I have been, but with my school prompts as well. This week is to create a comic panel with an original character I designed. I posted the original character not knowing if I should or not. I ended up doing it anyways, but after my art professor gave me some critiques about simplifying the hair and making the overall image lighter, I decided to do a color palette of less saturated colors. So I went a little bit higher in the shade tones and a little bit more desaturated so I could have each panel have matching and cohesive colors. I did just a color palette I found from Pinterest, and I made sure the whole theme had those colors as well as rendering. This frame is my favorite out of the panel. It is the first one of the little panel I'm making and probably the best. I love her eyes. I love everything. With this character and this panel pose of my character, I kind of regret it. I feel like I could have done so much better, but I decided to kind of just roll with it as long as I do have some sort of content in the panel so you understand what's going on. So I ended up taking the sword from one panel and just tracing over it to create the same sword as she's about to break it, because in my panel it is a battle of siblings and she ends up breaking her older brother Eris's sword. She, in my opinion, is definitely Athena coded. I feel like if Athena was someone, this is what she would look like in my head. A nice warrior woman, you know? I ended up simplifying her hair. Instead of all the wacky strands, it's 4 strands and 2 on the top. You can kind of see I used as well for this pose. I wasn't gonna do it, but I decided, you know what, I might as well have the hair look better if I can actually do it. So once I start the rendering process, I end up changing my mind and redoing it, and I'm so glad I did. Otherwise, I probably would have been so unhappy with this and I wouldn't have liked it at all. So I ended up making it have more movement but less strokes, so it looks kind of clean, like a still pose. I try to think of it as she's punching up to Eris's face from one comic panel all the way to the next comic panel, because my teacher recommended us in class have the way their body turns towards different frames and pages. So I thought, you know what, might as well actually try that technique. I might have not have been able to execute it as what I had in my head, but I still tried my best and I still tried to do it. Her eye whites have been gray, but I decided for this to show more emotion and anger, I turned the gray eye whites into light blue eye whites. And then you can kind of see how I created the panel. I wanted it to have some 3D panel vibes. I just used my regular calligraphy pencil that I usually use. I erased some spots and then tried to figure out what to do. I decided to use the bloom technique and some B&W with halftones to create half of the post with a gray theme and half with actual rendering, because I feel like the rendering panels are the more important panels. They jump out at you. And I really like how I did the electricity. I don't like the strokes of it, so next time I use this character, I have to be more concise with the stroking. But until then, I kind of just rolled with it. I tried to do filters and I made it so that he's falling, because the first panel is him in a headlock on Athena, and Athena kind of pushing her off him. So what better to recommend and show that than have him falling, in my opinion. and I overall very much like how it ended up with all the filters, and I wonder what my professor is going to critique on this for me, because I am someone who's really trying to learn and understand critiques, so I'm excited to see what my teachers think. Nice to meet you guys. If you haven't seen me, I'm katsabstractworld, and have a good night.